Do you want me to read the?
I can take it up then.
Good.
Good afternoon, this is Gail Charette, and I'm calling this meeting of the Yarmouth Commission on Disability to order at 3:04 p.m. Sarah, will you please now read the open meeting law?
This is to formally advise that as required by Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 to 25, and pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed into law on June 16, 2021, as extended by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, the Yarmouth Commission on Disability will hold a public meeting on Thursday, May 9th, 2024 at 3:00 p.m. at Yarmouth Town Hall, 1146 Route 28 South Yarmouth. The public is welcome to attend either in person or via the alternative public access provided on the agenda. Meeting ground rules, we are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. If you're participating remotely, please remember to unmute your microphone and face the microphone on your computer when you're recognized to speak. Please remember to mute the mic on Zoom or mobile phone when you are not speaking. When a participant wishes to interject a question or comment, please wave your hand physically or remotely and ask to be recognized. We will now proceed with the meeting.
As a preliminary matter, I will confirm for the record the members and staff present on either Zoom or in person that they can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jean Boyle, Vice Chair.
Here.
Drew Kraus. Now. Jessica Simmons.
Here.
Mary Vilbon. She's not on Zoom. And Gail Charette, Chair. And staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Sarah O'Reilly, Director of Human Resources and ADA Coordinator.
Here.
Thank you. We don't have anyone in the room right now, so I just want to welcome John to the meeting again. And before we start, I just want to make a note. If Sarah, you could maybe do the minutes, I mean, the recording.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Let's see now. Before we start this meeting, I would like to make one change to the agenda. So I move an unexpected friendship report be placed under new business and agendas for June meeting. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And any discussions? No discussions, thank you. Okay, Jean Boyle,
Yes. Yes.
Jessica Simmons, yes, and Gail Charette, yes. Thank you. We're going to now go to the tracker. And Jean, could you please start with the quest?
Yes.
Thank you.
While you were on vacation, Sarah, Jim Bassler, who is the owner of the Sunnyside complex where Quest is located, called me to say, it was about 2 weeks ago, I think, that he is working with Quest. He is also consulting with the original architect of those buildings. And at that moment, he was waiting for a permit from the Old Kings Highway Association. His plans are to have the door open inward and to have an automatic door opener. And he's working on it.
Thank you.
So that's good news.
That's very good news. Thank you very much, Jean. MRI Shields. Sarah, do you want to take that one?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I did hear from our deputy building commissioner that it was inspected and the work has been completed.
Thank you very much. So we can now close that one.
That's just,
Okay.
we have Teams phones, so sorry.
I will discuss it. The Sharkey one, Mary's still not on Zoom, so we will just proceed to the CVS. I would like to clarify what CVS received a letter from the Commonwealth of Mass, and AAB Division. It's the one that's closest to the Long Pond Road and Stop and Shop. I totally, missed that. However, that being said, I did make up a letter that I had given to Sarah to look at. And she had some concerns, questions. So what I did was, after I found out what we're doing, and I took a picture of it, and this is the one. And what is missing is a band sign here, and the other one is really kind of worn out. So what I did was I took the initiative, and I did find that they could buy an ADA van signage for like $10.95. So I thought we could include that in the letter so that they would at least, have some kind of idea of where they can get this. And on March 15th, I had presented a letter, but there were some things that needed to be changed, which I did change. So I would like to just give it to Sarah if I may, and then Sarah and I can get together. She said it's a go, then we can put everything together. And I'm going to give you the packet, and that includes obviously the letter, the original document from, the commission.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also I thought this would be kind of nice, just add this to it.
Okay.
So they'll be all set. Thank you, Sarah.
I was always under the impression, pardon me, that the handicap sign should have the thread on it, the towing or the fine.
No, necessary.
Well, it was when we had a citizens group in Barnstable, because the person who parked there, if it didn't have the thread, they could appeal it.
They could appeal it. I know,
Yeah.
but you know what? I couldn't find anything that was concrete, so therefore it's a moot point because they don't,
That's not our understanding from the police department or the building department here.
Yeah.
That is not what.
That's not what was described to us. Remember a couple of years ago when the building department and the police chief came?
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
didn't feel that that was necessary.
I think they also said that they really didn't have time to follow up on it either.
Well, they do. They actually they have a patrol officer that was doing some of that work.
Yeah.
I actually witnessed him speaking to someone one day.
Mhm.
It's been a little while since that happened, but I happened to be at a supermarket where he was speaking to someone about their parking in the handicap.
Well, I don't
parking
see
spot.
many signs that have the thread anyway. Most of them just say handicap parking with the
That's my
symbol.
point, though.
Yeah.
They said to us that it's not necessary. They
It
can
is-
still
it's in the books as
enforce.
a law,
Yeah,
It's in
right.
the books as a law. When I guess when you get your license, there's a lot of information you get, and that's part of it. You get a $500 fine if you actually have somebody else's placard. And if you don't know it, what do they say about the law? Well, you know what? Ignorance does not make you free of anything. You're still going to jail. No. So anyway, the only thing that I'd like to mention is that it's too bad that we didn't have like meter maids, that would, but we're not ready yet for really revamping. And,
So,
getting to the parking lot.
Again, I just want to refresh your memory on, some visits we had, and maybe we can invite them back if you'd like, from the police chief and the building commissioner. I think it was 2 years ago. And we don't have meters in the town of Yarmouth.
Yeah, well, I didn't
We
mean
don't
it,
really,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
mean it literally, but that's what pays for
I get you.
those
You're right.
people, right? You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to, so you can have, that's money, right? So
Yeah,
it's,
you're right.
it's a matter of priorities and determining like, what do we want to pay staff to do,
No, it makes
right?
sense, of
And
course.
Barnstable has, you know, the whole downtown area in Hyannis that have meters.
Right.
And they do a lot of parking enforcement related to that, and they collect money, right? Because the people are paying for parking. So that covers the cost of having, you know, some enforcement. And then they enforce other areas
Right.
too, where there aren't actually meters, but it's a matter of how to fund a position like that, you know, and we don't really have that here.
So what
So
we'll do
it's
is we'll do it
enforced
our
by
way.
the police department here, so,
They do have a separate parking department
correct.
away from the police station and the,
Correct, that's
town
what she's
building.
referencing, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they have a parking enforcement division in
Right.
Barnstable, correct.
well, it's a big town,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
should be a city.
Well, you know, we just do our education and we just, you know, go along that way and eventually we'll get everybody on board. So we're going to be moving on to the next on the agenda, June meeting date. Sarah?
So, yeah, so our next scheduled meeting, I believe is scheduled for the 13th. Would normally be the 13th. However, I'm going to be away. I'm leaving the 11th and I'm away till the 21st. So, I wanted to, you know, just suggest, well, two options. One is you can still meet on the 13th. I just won't be here. So that's okay. I don't have to be here for every meeting. Or we can move the meeting date.
Oh, then, okay, the 20th would not work then, obviously. So
The 20th will not work.
no,
I will be
no,
away,
okay,
yeah.
So then,
I'll be away for 2 Thursdays, so.
okay. I hope you're going to someplace great.
I'm going to Spain, yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Great,
already. Okay. Do we want to move it to 27th or you want to just
Why don't we
forget
do the-
about it?
How
for
about the
June.
6th? Mean just skip the meeting?
Oh, you mean like have it the 6th instead of having it the, okay.
Well, that's what she suggested.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Is the
Oh, okay.
6th all right with everyone?
Yeah, that'll be
Are
fine.
you sure? Nothing's jumping out at me?
Cause like, maybe.
Okay,
What did it say? Moving from-
I get that all backwards. Okay, well, you know what, old age. All right, good. So we should make a motion on that, right? Move that we change the meeting from the 13th to June 6th. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussions? I will do a vote. Jean.
Aye.
Jessica Simmons. Gail Charette. Aye. So the motion passes. Great. All right. Community access monitoring. Jean, would you please give us an update?
Yeah. Drew and I, from January to the present date, visited 13 town buildings. 3 of them was a fire station. And 4 other town properties which did not have public buildings. They were, you know, garages and storage and that kind of thing. All I can say is I got to know the town. I think it's very pretty. And the parks and beaches are slated for this summer. We do need volunteers. It will be a much easier job because all you have are the restrooms and maybe a snack bar in the parking lot to survey. So that should go pretty fast and it can be done on weekends too, which should simplify. So we're working on that.
So you're gonna be putting together a list anyway, then we'll have a list.
Yes.
And then what we'll do is we'll do the same thing we did last time. We'll just put the priorities, all right, what we're gonna do. And then maybe we can all get together, maybe we can do it, you know?
Sure.
And I mean, I can't bend, but I could certainly, you know, stand, and
Mhm.
I am CAM, so I can help. You don't have to be there all the time if you don't want, if you can't be.
Well,
So-
you can also take a volunteer, it doesn't have to be a member certainly.
Yeah.
Who would do the measuring and that, which is what Drew did. I mean, it was great. I had the pad.
Right,
Writing down and he measured and, you know, it went very smoothly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a burden at all. It was really kind of fun. Yeah. It was
you
nice.
did a great job. But before we go on to the next subject, I just want to say a few words. And unfortunately, Drew's not here, but I think it's important that, because this is, you're wrapping it all up, right? This is it? Yeah.
For the buildings.
Yeah. Okay, so the Disability Commission would like to recognize both members, Jean Boyle and Drew Kraus, for taking on this mighty task to audit town-owned properties, making sure they are ADA compliant and accessible to all. It was broken up into 2 phases, 1 and 2. They have completed phase 1, 13 properties. A detailed report was written and given to the town administrator. The plan is town personnel will do the upgrades. Also, it will be used for grant applications. The commission would like for you to have this. I got something for you. What the heck is that? Disorientate. Got this small token here for you. As a reminder,
Is it diamonds?
yeah, yeah, from, I don't want to say it. Okay, of how much you are appreciated and valued. It says, you can open it up. Thank you for being awesome. May you be proud of your work, of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make. And thank you very much, Jean. We all appreciate that, especially
Isn't this
Sarah, because it's going to
great?
make her job easier.
Oh,
So it's a little token of our appreciation.
that is so nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah, I wanted to ask you, to recap this whole thing, I was going to go through each report and itemize what has to be done with a checklist. So that might be helpful to,
To Robert, let me ask Robert if he feels like he needs that. He's been receiving all the reports.
yeah.
I don't want to take your time if,
Okay.
it seems like he's kind of got it under control, but
Yeah.
I'll ask him if he wants help with that. Thank
Just in
you
the
for
form that
offering.
it was written.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought maybe it might be difficult to follow.
yeah, yeah.
You can let
I'll
me know.
ask him if that's okay and just, or
Sure.
if it would be helpful and I can
Okay.
get back to you. Thank you
Good.
very much for
Thank
offering.
you.
Yeah.
This is lovely.
And he will be getting back to us as things, as things progress. So we're just. waiting on
Yeah.
that. Okay, thank you. All right. So the next one is, let's see. Oh, are we supposed to do that today? Reorganization of office.
Mhm.
composition. Jessica, would you please take the, on this one?
So as per our discussion last month, it seems that it was pretty unanimous that our current officers, with the exception of clerk, are going to remain our current officers. And that the clerk duties would be on rotation. Can I make a suggestion for that rotation? Just alphabetical order.
Say that again?
Alphabetical order for the clerk duty rotation.
Oh,
So at this point, should I make a motion to, okay? So as the one woman nomination committee, I would like to make a motion to appoint Gail Charette as chair, Jean Boyle as vice chair, and clerk duties on a rotating schedule for the following fiscal year,
Alphabetically,
alphabetically.
okay. Who
I
wants
need a second.
oh, I second the motion.
Oh, I don't know if you can, can't you?
Yes.
Oh, can't you? Okay. All right, any discussion?
All I can say is I liked when I was in school, because my maiden name was Morocco, and I was towards the end of the list. But being Boyle, that puts me first.
So the only thing I want to mention, is that, we're having a discussion, is that I will make sure that I will give the information like a month in advance, so people know, just to make sure, like I'll put it down in the agenda, who's going to be doing it for the next month, just in case somebody forgets,
Okay.
something like that. Okay. Sarah, do you have anything? to add?
No, I think in the handouts, you provided some like a checklist of doing minutes. I think it's here somewhere. And the public body checklist for creating and approving meeting minutes. So that's a resource for folks that are doing the minutes. And then you know, I think to Jessica's point in terms of rotating it, if we can just handle it in such a way that who's ever next is responsible. But if you, obviously, if you can't make the meeting, then you might need to switch around sometime, so.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
so just keep that in mind, that if you're sort of the owner of the next one and you can't be there, then you need to find someone that can replace if possible, so.
And
that'd be great.
I also want to just interject that when I pulled this up, I tried to get something from Massachusetts of, you know, like they were like really having like maybe all the steps, but I couldn't find any detail. I don't know if any, do you know how to, did you take minutes at all? Did you ever do that before?
Minutes for one of these meetings, no, but I take notes
Okay.
on a lot of meetings throughout my day, so.
Okay, because what I found, and I didn't want to present it today, I'm going to give it to Sarah, she can look it over, and then if she says this looks good, because she may want to change some things. It's nothing more than just what are meeting minutes, what's the procedure, I'm not gonna go through the whole list, but it just says, you know, what's included, how do you write the minutes, preparing a template before the meeting, and taking notes, and, you know, some information like that, collecting, blah, 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 and reading your notes and creating a draft. I think that would be kind of nice this way. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I wouldn't, and I would just say, we don't need to overthink it too much. The main deal with the minutes that you want to do is make sure that you capture all the motions and the votes. That's really the priority for the minutes. And then, you know, a little bit of,
Well, you have to put the names down, you have to put down, if anything, like, anybody's that's absent, I mean, there are details that, you know, like, they have like. a template,
I'm
like-
making assumption that people know that they have to take attendance and stuff like that. But I
Right,
mean, as
yeah.
far as like you don't need to my point is, you don't need to capture everything word for word.
Oh, no, no, no,
It's,
you don't want to
it's,
do that.
you
right.
know,
Right,
it's,
and that's what it says, do not.
right,
It's a-
exactly.
That's why the template's nice, because what you could do, and I could do this, I can give you the script that I have to refresh your memory, because it would actually help write the minutes, because you want something, you want to follow the agenda when you're doing the minutes. That's the way you would, you know, like, figure it out. That's what I read anyway, not taking minutes, but, so anyway, that is a thought, so. I'll just pass that on to Sarah.
Referring to the previous minutes would be helpful too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I
That's what
think,
it is.
yeah,
Yeah, the previous
yes,
minutes, and
exactly.
also, right, because that's what I wait for that when I do my script. You know, so I, you know, yeah. Okay, well, I think we have that all under control. Oh, and you know what I was thinking too, is maybe at the beginning, you may want to just take some notes just in case, you know, something's missing. I don't know. I mean, you know.
I think it's worked fine with
Okay,
people sending
right.
it, and, you know,
right.
I think we have to
Okay.
trust the group that if, you know, we're all all the people who are here are gonna read those minutes, and they're gonna,
Okay,
you know, interject if something's missing or something like that, so.
yeah. Okay.
But you do need to vote. You have a motion and
Yeah,
a second,
okay,
so
yeah. Thank you.
you're
Okay.
welcome.
So we're all done with the discussion, and now we'll take the vote. Jean Boyle
Yes.
and Jessica Simmons.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, yes, okay, so that motion passes.
Do have a question, Sarah. So, you know, once we recorded the minutes, the meeting is over, do I just send them directly to you in like an email format?
Yep,
Okay.
And myself,
usually,
And
yeah,
you can
yeah.
and if you could do it within a week, the latest, that would be great, because we find that when people wait until the end of the month, things you forget things, you know? Everything's fresh in your mind, and you just, you know, not on your end, but if we're reading the minutes and we miss something, I'll know in the first week, but not in the last, I mean, I'll forget after a while.
Yeah,
So
no, I
that,
get it.
you know what I mean? So, yeah, okay, thank you.
Well, it makes sense to record the meeting for the minutes.
The
I don't
meeting
know.
is recorded,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's recorded,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
But I don't
So
think
you
we
can
do.
use the
So
recording.
you
I
could
can
go
get that
back
to you.
and replay.
Yep.
that. Oh,
Oh,
terrific.
okay, all right.
Do you post this recording?
I haven't been, but I probably should be better about that,
Well, you don't have
honestly.
to. It's
Yeah.
okay. We don't, that's fine. We don't want
Well.
you to. Let us know when you're gonna do it.
Where would you post the?
On the town website,
You would,
it really,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot on your plate. You don't need to do that.
Gail, you're funny.
Yeah, okay. So we're moving on to our prospective member status. And we're so happy to report John Mitchell had an interview with the select board Dorcas McGurran this past Monday. And I asked if you had a chance to be sworn in.
Not yet.
Okay, so hopefully you'll get that under your belt and
Yeah.
then you'll be.
Just gonna meet.
So first, he has to be officially appointed by the board, the select
Oh,
board.
I
Yeah,
thought that
that's
was
the
done that
next.
day. Okay,
No,
No,
okay.
that-
Yeah, that's right.
they-
You have a letter.
they
Yeah.
do that at their
Oh, their
meeting.
meeting.
Yes, it's a
So it may
public
not
meeting.
be till August. Okay. But that's okay. So
Well,
you'll have to
they
wait.
they meet
kids.
pretty regularly, so I would expect it
Oh,
would be
that'd be
before
good. Oh, yeah, they
August.
meet
Yeah,
They meet
Twice
weekly.
twice a
They
month or
m-
something.
they meet 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah, that's
so,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Nice.
So then, once that occurs, we can go over everything and whatever questions or concerns you have. I'd be more than happy to discuss them with you.
Nice.
And I'm trying to get my book back, the guidebook, and then I can give it that to you and you can review it and see if that would be helpful to you. So
Great.
appreciate it. Yeah.
May I comment on, I think it's an appropriate place since we're talking about reorganizing and such. I did go to a meeting that was conducted by some attorneys that it was through, I think it was through Massachusetts Municipal Association, and they were talking about open meeting law and you know, the posting requirements and different things like that, public record requirements. And so I just, you know, one of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention that, you know, I think is a good reminder really is that they're saying that anytime there's discussion about disability commission,
For educating, you can't do that.
anytime there's discussion
Yeah, I get
amongst
that.
the
Yeah.
group members, it needs to be in public session.
Okay,
So there, you shouldn't be conferring back and forth by phone or email in between meetings. It's, you know, the difference is planning the agenda is okay. What do you want on the agenda? Giving your opinion about things is not okay. You know, so just, you know, a reminder to be sure that, you know, and you can meet as a subcommittee, like if you had a project and you were like, oh, you know, a couple people are
okay.
gonna take, you know, as a side committee or subcommittee, you can do that. We just need to post it as a meeting. It needs to be a public meeting.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be on a hybrid meeting, but it needs to be a public meeting. So it would be wise for us to have it held here
Okay.
or wherever you're gonna have, it needs to be posted as with a time and a place.
That sounds
2 days
fine to me.
before. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention because sometimes, you know, we can walk that line a little bit with email or with even phone calls, you know, it's like making sure we're not crossing that line with, you know, having
Yeah.
discussion and, you know, kind of planning and things like that. So I just wanted to mention that today because it was fresh in my mind. I just took the class a couple days ago, so.
Sarah, can 2 people
No,
from this,
no.
really?
Not if you're I mean, you can go out to lunch, but I would say that most likely if you did, you'd probably be talking about the Disability Commission. So you need to just be mindful of,
We should not.
you know, if you're having conversations about the planning of the Disability Commission, they should be in public session. You know, it's for transparency. If you know, if you think about like other town committees, you are, at least I am under the assumption that when you're listening to a meeting, that all the conversation that's happening in those meetings is the conversation, and there's not anything happening sort of behind the scenes. And so I think it's just, I know that there's not a lot of public discussion here and people participating so much, but we probably should talk about posting, you know, the video and things like that. It might actually help with your hopes to get more people interested in this committee and what's going on and, you know, that kind of thing.
That's a
So,
good point.
you know, we may want to talk about that, but I mean, they even went so far as to, and this is more probably for staff, but you guys are an extension of the staff. So you really, you know, the town is set up in such a way that we rely on volunteers to be, you know, participants in the town government through these boards and committees. I thought this was an interesting one. They talked about in a meeting, and I do this, I was at the select board meeting just this week and I was on my phone, not that, and I was just texting my kids or whatever, but presumably, right, I'm on my phone, right, and I'm texting my child. But if I wasn't texting my child and I was texting, you know, someone in the meeting, you know, complaining
Oh,
about
okay, yeah.
something or, you know, talking about a subject that was like part of the meeting, if someone sees me on TV on my phone, they could actually question what I was doing on my phone and then open up that as like what's the
Can of
right
worms,
word,
I would
like, you
say.
know, yeah, right. But, you know, open that up for like discussion as to looking at those text messages and confirming that they weren't part of the, you know, the part of the
You never
discussion.
think
So
about those
you
things.
don't, and
No.
that's why I'm bringing it
Yeah.
up because it's, you know, with the days of technology and we're on Zoom, we're on, you know, we're on
Yeah.
phones, we're on all these different platforms. And, you know, not that I would do this, but I mean, think about what if we were a bigger meeting and I was like frustrated with something that Jessica was doing or saying, and I was texting you and saying, you know, why is she, you know, doing whatever, you know what I mean? Then someone requests, you know, public records request, they request my phone
Right.
text messages. Now the news media is, you know, saying, oh, Sarah O'Reilly is, you know, doing all these rotten things, you know what I mean? So, and I would never
thought of
do that.
you
I would
know?
not do that, but I'm just like, you know, it's, I'm sure it's happened
Yeah.
with, obviously, that's why they brought it up, you know?
Is there a reason that it's?
Right.
policy?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I'm
So
sure
I
that-
think
yeah.
so I think there's just, you know, it's like, it doesn't, I don't think any of us are doing anything that is like, doesn't have the right, you know, intent, right? None of us
Mhm.
in this group are like, have the wrong intentions in anything that you're doing, but it's like those, you know, you can call each other or whatever, and you don't, it seems like nothing, you know, but you have to kind of think of it in the way that this is a public body and you just want to be protective of that, I think, you know, so just thought I'd bring it up.
Mary was going to compose an email that she was gonna send to a lot of her people on parking. She was going to send it to me for approval, revision, whatever. Is that allowed?
See, this
Yeah,
is
but
where.
you're in a subcommittee though, but the
But-
only thing is it's not posted.
Yeah, see,
That's what you have to do.
these are the things that,
Okay.
no, really, the
No, no,
answer
that-
to
that-
that is no. What should happen is you should draft that letter and it should come to the board, you know, come to the Disability Commission for your review. We could send it out to the group in advance as part of the meeting, you know, the
Oh,
meeting
definitely. it should
packet and
pass review.
agenda.
Yeah.
But then it should be, you know, whatever, unless there's a motion that says, you know, Jean's gonna write the letter and we have all the faith in the world in Jean to write the letter and she's gonna do it and send it. But then you've got one person that's reviewed a letter and sent it out on behalf of the committee, so that's risky, you know, not because I don't trust Jean, but
Right.
you know, that's why we're all here, you know, is to kind of be, I don't know. I always feel like another set of eyes is always a good process because you do pick up on things, even if it's a simple typo. You don't want to represent a town committee and have a letter that has typos in
Mhm.
it, you
I
know,
agree
so.
with that because as the chairperson, I don't want something to go out that is not what we all agreed on. I always try to bring it, you see how I do that. I hope I am as transparent as I can. I always try to give you everything I can. In fact, probably it's overload, but at least I look at Sarah as she's the ADA coordinator, plus she's HR, so she knows her business. And this way, we'll never get into trouble. And not only that, but we're representing our commission, and we want to be really, really, I guess we should say, very transparent and thorough.
It's just, and it does move slower than we all would like sometimes, that's, I mean, that's
Well, I
why.
would assume that would be
Well,
brought, see, I
Government
thought that,
policy.
I would assume that your subcommittee would bring that to this meeting, because I would.
To the
that-
meeting?
Absolutely, not just send something out, because we don't know what it is. I mean, it could be something.
Could
that-
be
What
detrimental.
about Drew and I going out? That's
That's different.
surveying.
That's different, because you know why? Because you have been, given that.
That's not a meeting. That's not, you're doing a
Okay,
project. I
I
don't see that as, you're not planning, you're not like,
Right, you're doing a job.
you're doing a
It's a
task,
yeah,
right? That's
task,
been
right.
discussed and,
Okay,
Yeah.
I think there is a difference there. I do think that's a good question, but I think
Yeah.
there's we can see a difference and go, we've made a plan, you've gone and implemented it. But, it's as long as you and Drew, when you're out there, aren't, discussing all the future plans of the commission or the past plans or whatever, like you should be focusing on the task at hand, which is why I bring it up, because it's not always, it's something you got to be mindful of, and it's not like necessarily intuitive all the time to sort of protect that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's.
No, I think it's a
not
good
easy.
point.
To play devil's advocate on 2 points you had mentioned about the volunteers, significant part of Yarmouth people are volunteers. Now, if you're volunteering, where's the liability fall if you get hurt? Does it fall on the town, or you're volunteering? Good luck. And then that's really kind of throwing it out there, because it's going to happen sooner or later. If you're volunteering for the town and anything could happen, where does that fall? I mean, are you technically a town employee? Or are you not an employee?
You're considered a special town employee, so you're not a paid employee,
Okay,
but you're
I see.
considered a special town
And the other
employee.
question, now, not particularly this board, but I've been to some other board meetings where the entire board will get up and leave a public meeting to discuss something and vote on it, and then come back into the room, which is against.
Well, it depends on
Executive
what it
session.
is that they're voting on. So there's executive, like if you're talking about the select board, there are some bylaws which allow the select board to discuss certain things that are not in public. Like an example would be collective bargaining agreements,
Yes.
if negotiations.
Exactly.
Corrective action for an individual employee, which they don't usually get too involved in that. But if there's some extension of that they need to approve or what have you, then
Mhm.
there might be something, a particular situation where they would. But it's mostly like what I've seen is contracts, collective bargaining agreements, things like that,
That's exactly right.
aren't, the public can't be privy to until they're,
Totally.
finalized, because it would cause problems for the negotiations themselves. You know what I
I think
mean?
as a
So-
volunteer, I think that is really important. We're lucky we have Sarah, because she knows, the background. Because a lot of people, I mean, I've never worked, like in government kind of thing, right? So I had no clue. So it was a very difficult transition for me. And I've grown a lot, but there's a lot more to go. Nobody really sat down with any of us and explained to us how this works, right? What you just said.
Mm.
So that's kind of interesting that not us particularly, but it would be nice, God bless you, to like maybe have something like that. You may want to bring that to somebody's attention, where it could be on a CD or something like that, just an educational thing where somebody comes on board So they don't like getting caught in the trap and say, they
Right,
call somebody up and say, hey, blah, 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 you're not supposed to do that. You
right.
didn't know that, God
And
bless
if
you.
you're
So-
volunteering and
Right,
you have a
right.
Well, I
union,
think some of this is covered in that blue book that everybody loves so much, you know,
Nobody
and
reads
I,
it.
well, you're asking for a
No,
CD, and I think
Right,
what I'm
okay.
saying is that if you don't read the book, are you gonna
you gotta
listen
know.
to a CD? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Yeah. But
So,
I mean, but we didn't have that book. Okay, I have to remember, we did not have that book for almost a year and a half. There was no book. That was during the COVID. There was nothing. So we didn't
Okay.
have anything.
yeah,
So you're right. You're right. There is a
This
book out there. So
also-
that's good. And you do get a book and, so yes, yes. And that's why we try to condense it, put the bylaws, so it's like really very straightforward. So we do the best we can.
but I
you
think
know.
the book is, it
It's
is
very
important to point out to people that that is the full board and committee book that the town has put
Yeah.
together, and then what you've put together is a condensed version
Exactly.
that's a little more specific to this, but ideally people do
And we
read
did have to
and
sign a
educate
document. We
themselves
had to
on
sign, I did sign something and sent it back. To the clerk.
Anyway, I don't want to hijack the meeting because I know we
Okay.
have a lot of other things on the agenda,
All
but
right, well,
thank
that was great. So let's see, where are we now? Thank you, Sarah. We're moving on to any information on the mod grant. That's Sarah.
yeah, so the grant, oh my gosh,
What is that?
that's my phone.
Oh,
So we
that's your
have,
phone?
yeah, we actually have Teams phones here. And so it rings on my computer and at my desk,
You can never leave.
which is obviously good and bad, but yeah. That person just called 3 times in a row. I don't know who they are, but they just
Wow.
called 3 times in a row. It was the same person. But anyway, that's okay. I just don't, I'm not sure why they're calling over and over again.
Must be important.
I guess, so we'll catch up with them. If I hit disconnect, it'll go to my voicemail and I'll pick it up after the meeting, so I'll take
Neat.
care of them after.
It's your plane tickets to
It's,
Spain.
yeah, right. It's great because I had to leave early one day, and I was actually driving off Cape in the car. I wasn't physically driving, I was riding. I was the passenger, just to be clear. But I was like, oh, I can do some work while we're driving. And my phone actually rang because I was on my hotspot through my cell phone. So I was connected to the internet, and my phone rang, and staff were calling me with questions about things. And I was able to I was like, all right, everybody in the car, be quiet. And I was able to have the bad news is if it's on your computer, it's on speakerphone, but I was able to answer some simple questions by, and they didn't even know I was on my way to New Hampshire, wherever I was. So it's pretty cool.
On your vacation, you were working?
This was just a day that I left a little early I think it was a college visit or something with the kids. So,
Cool.
but anyway, so on the grant did just open up, and I actually have it on my schedule. They do these office hours for, the grant office. I just have some questions for them as to how we can use those, CAM surveys in order to apply for the grant. I want some advice because last year we didn't get the grant, so I do want to talk to someone. I did attend an overview webinar that they did, which was really helpful, but I want to speak to someone in their office. So I do have that person's contact information and intend to
great.
give them a call and just get some questions answered. For those of you who haven't heard this before, our ADA transition plan was kind of embedded into all the various division, I don't even know, bylaws or policies and procedures or something along those lines. So we don't have a good ADA transition plan that is one document. It's the information is sort of embedded into multiple division documents.
Yeah.
So we need to really go back, and we're trying to, that's the intent, is to apply for a grant to bring in a consultant who can do the ADA transition plan. However, one of my questions is, if we have multiple people who have gone through the CAM training, obviously Jean and Drew did a great job with outlining, what I would say is pretty equivalent to an ADA transition plan. And can we apply for a grant to help pay for implementation of some of the things? Or do we need to first apply for because they have two kinds of grants, a planning grant and a project grant. That's probably not the right name, but you get the idea. And so if I have to first do the planning grant because they won't use what we have for the project grant, that's kind of my question is I want
Right.
to understand what
Step
they
one
will,
for two.
yeah, if they will allow us to use that, the CAM, access monitor reporting as our ADA transition plan, then we can pull that into one, pull that together into a document and then apply for the project grant. I don't know if they're gonna accept it, so that's what I need to
But they offer
understand.
this, the CAM.
I know,
You
well,
know,
you
you
would,
would
that's
think.
kind of, right,
I mean,
that's
what's-
kind of
what's
my
the-
thought
Right,
process,
so I would
right,
say, you're offering this, so you're encouraging us to do this. So
right,
we assume that this is a tool
right,
that
right,
you would
Right,
honor and
right.
you would do
Yeah,
something.
right,
respect
right,
it,
right.
yeah.
right.
Respect,
So
exactly.
that's my question, and
No, I
then
know
I
the-
will take
yeah.
the appropriate action from
Yeah,
there.
and there's a time limit, unfortunately.
There is, yeah, yeah,
Which is not long.
right.
But anyway, we'll do the best we can. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. Any questions on that?
Sounds
Is it
good.
possible just to
And, you know,
apply with,
I'm
We
sorry.
do have a question over here.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry.
is it possible just to apply without having the CAM survey? Not to the request for the funds.
That's
Or the
my
grant.
question for them. Yeah,
Oh.
that's my question is, which one do we have to apply for? Do we have to apply for the planning grant? Which
Yeah.
in which term means that they wouldn't consider this as our transition, or can we sort of jump over to the plan, the project
Project part.
grant? Yes, exactly. You can't do both in the same year, so we have to do one or the other.
Sarah,
Yeah.
Barnstable got 250,000 from them maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea what they did with that?
I know that they did do some upgrades. I'm assuming, I kind of made the assumption, because I happened to be at town hall when they were doing some work and updating all their bathrooms to being ADA accessible. So I kind of am making that assumption. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm assuming that's probably what it was. I think, yeah.
Moving on to the next agenda, the agenda, it's a milestone. I would like to make a move that we stay in the milestone publication with the provision that our proposal is accepted and carried through by the senior staff. You may look at me like I'm crazy, but I wanted to have a discussion about it and I wanted to.
No one knows here what you're talking about.
Am I supposed to first talk about the subject?
Yeah, I
Well,
think,
you mean
yeah.
like- Yeah, but I did. I just said the milestone. You want me to like,
Well, I think they
Explain.
need some background before you're making a motion, right?
oh, okay, because I didn't know if you want to talk about. what
I
you
can
had
talk
said.
about it. Yeah, I can
Okay, all
talk.
right, that,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought.
That's
that-
okay. I'm like, I don't think anybody
okay,
knows
yeah, I
what
thought you
the,
just talked about the milestone, then we have a blanket. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
so the milestone, as you know, is the senior center's publication. And typically this group has submitted articles to be included in the milestone. The senior center has a budget, and I believe they have a budget for a certain number of pages. I want to say it's 22, but it's whatever these are. I don't know how many pages there are. I think 22 is the number that's sticking out in my head.
19.
Okay, 19. All
Oh, I
right.
mean, it says 19.
Okay, then it's 19.
It's 19.
So they have specific amount of pages that are in their budget to produce the milestone. So I know there's been I actually met with the director and the POA who handles putting together the milestone, because I know there's been some frustration by this group of the amount of space that they've provided for us to, submit articles. They basically, the bottom line is that they can provide us and guarantee us 3 lines to go into the milestone. So the intent was, if you want to have a little blurb each month that just, references the Disability Commission and when you meet, or that we're taking members or something along those lines, then they can do that on a consistent basis. Otherwise, it really depends on what they have for space in that month's, in that particular issue of the newsletter, as to what they can accommodate. So we can do a couple things. We can, you could write an article still and have it on the town's webpage and have a QR code, which is what we did a couple months ago, to have the rest, the rest of the article was like on the QR code. Or we can, submit just a consistent, 3-line little blurb about the Disability Commission, but they can't accommodate, a certain amount of space because they have certain programming that's happening at the senior center. And the milestone really is the senior center's publication. And while they want to support the Disability Commission, there's a cost involved in adding pages. So they have to stick to what their budgeted number of pages is for each. They have it planned out for the year, and it's got to be a certain number of pages or the cost goes up. So that's kind of the deal with the milestone, is that, they're willing to help us, but, sometimes they're finalizing it, the night before it's due at midnight or something like that. Diane's working on things. So that's the hesitation in, kind of like, I know, Gail, you've been really great at facilitating, like getting them the stuff ahead of time and all that stuff, but they're not necessarily in a place where they can always work on it and get it done that far ahead of time. So sometimes it's down to the wire with all the different
Yeah, I
pieces they're
figured
trying
that
to
out, yeah.
pull together. And so I guess that's the long answer for the short question is we
Well-
kind of need to figure out how you want to approach it.
Thank you for finding the information out, because that was really important, because we were running around with, chasing our tail.
Right.
Nobody told us precisely what you just said. They just said they would try to squeeze it in, and, they would call or they would email me. I get emails saying, and then that's not happening. It's very frustrating when that takes place. But anyway, moving forward, I understand that it's not, the senior center's fault at all. It's now we know it's the 19 pages. You know what I mean? Like the budget.
Yeah, and I
and there
think
it is,
I
yeah.
think that I think where, sometimes things go awry, right? Is sometimes we appreciate direct answers, right? And
Exactly.
people
Always
want
true.
to accommodate each other, right? They want to put a half page in there. They would love to be able to do that every month, but they have, some restrictions to doing that.
Yeah.
So
But it's important
instead
to
of
mention
like
that.
saying, directly, okay, this is what we can do. And I think that's what the phone call that I had with them sort of accomplished was,
Yes.
all right, this is
You
what,
were you were actually able to extract that information, so I appreciate that. So I'm not gonna go into my big spiel, but I
okay.
am going to just make a motion, because I do have a canned, kind of thing set up already that we could use, but we need to discuss it. So I move that we stay in the milestone publication with the provision that our proposal is accepted and carried through the senior center staff. That means that we know that this is consistent. It's not gonna change like exactly what we're getting. We may change the wording sometimes, but everything's gonna remain the same. So do I hear a second?
Can you clarify, I'm sorry, can you just clarify your motion? I don't know what
Okay.
you mean by it.
I move that we stay in the milestone publication with the provision that our proposal is accepted and carried through by the senior center staff.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, what I mean is that if we give them something, okay, I don't want it to be changing every single time. Sometimes I put this in, sometimes I put that in. So what I thought we would do is we would have a consistent, maybe I should discuss,
Consistent message to the
yeah,
public.
like, see, we only can have about this much space, folks.
No, 3 lines.
That's 3 lines. That's 3 lines, and that is exactly.
It looks like 5 lines to me.
No, that's 3. No, that's 3 lines, but I'm gonna ask them if my proposal is if they would accept what we have here. And I'll explain why. See how this is right here?
Mhm. So, 1,
What
2,
is
3,
this? This is,
4, 5,
five,
6, 7.
okay.
Like 8 lines. there.
Yeah, that one's long. We were able to squeeze that in, but you see this right here? Okay,
Mhm.
you see this down here? That's about what the size is.
Town
Right there.
libraries is the same.
Yes, that's the size, right?
Wow. That's
Okay.
tiny.
Being a commission, I think that we should at least be able to give our webpage and the board members, I think that's important. Not that I want people to say, oh my God, you know, no, because somebody may see you and they may reach out to you and they'll say, gee, I want to talk to you about something on the commission. I saw your name. That's why I'm thinking this way. So yes, it's a little bit bigger.
So I
So-
just want to be clear, Gail, what they've committed to is 3 lines. I can't confirm that they'll do all that.
I know,
They-
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, we're gonna make this proposal. If they can't do that, then this is 3 lines without the top part. There's no heading, there's no logo, there's no anything, right? So everything is gonna be so tiny, you're not gonna know what you're seeing. So it's like, what's the purpose of being in there if we can't at least give them something that makes sense? I don't think,
Substance. Something of substance. you know?
yeah, that's what I'm saying, so this is what I was thinking, Sarah. I mean, I was gonna ask, you can ask them, see if they would accept that.
On a regular basis.
And
yeah.
like if they had,
So
you see
would
this right here?
would it be
down here?
nice if we
You see
could
this right here?
throw
They
that?
could have put something here. I mean,
Would
they
it
did
be nice
last
to
time.
put it on a.
Anyway.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
what's-
I think that you need, would be my suggestion. That you have 2 or 3 different messages. That based on how much space they have, that particular, version that they can choose from. If they have more space, then maybe you have, because this font's also really small, that's not 3 lines. Because the font in this is much bigger than
That's
what you
okay.
have
That's-
here.
That's 9.5.
Yeah, so they're not gonna be, like, if they're gonna do it in whatever this font is, which is probably like 12 or something.
Well, I have to think about that because I'll tell you. It's a lot of work putting something together and trying to figure out what we're gonna put in there that makes sense. So,
Well, I think maybe
so.
put that on this group. You don't have to take it on. Like, what if this group comes
Mhm.
back with some suggestions, 3 lines versus 4 lines versus 5 lines? And throw out a few options with, and if the group approves a 2 or 3 options, then you can provide those 2 or 3 options to the senior center, and then based space, contingent on space, they can choose one of them. Then you guys have agreed on what those 3 different lengths are and options are, so that
Okay.
they have it, and then you're not frustrated if they cut something out. That's my concern, is they very clearly said what we can commit to is 3 lines.
Okay, so.
So I don't want to say,
we're gonna
oh,
lose the
here's
logo,
7
But we're
lines.
gonna lose our logo. and
I
we're
don't
gonna-
know if you are. I
Oh,
think,
of course we are, because you know what? Would you rather have, because this is way too big. This is not our logo. See how nice, this is like square, like a rectangle, right? This is round. So if 3 lines, it's gonna be so tiny, you're not gonna see it. So we're gonna lose the logo as far as I'm concerned, because it's not, makes any sense if you can't read it.
Yeah.
So we can discuss this at another time, but looking at the top here, this is basically what they're gonna give us. That's the 3-line thing.
Oh,
See what I'm
boy.
saying? So we have a name, something, and our phone number.
this is why I'm suggesting,
Okay.
Gail, that
Contact
you,
phone number.
this is why I'm suggesting that you come up with a few, you have the group come up with a few suggestions,
Isn't it?
because
Okay.
the worst case scenario is 3 lines. That doesn't mean that every month you're only gonna get 3 lines. It means that you need to plan on what it looks like if they can only accommodate 3 lines one time. And if they can accommodate more space, then you feed them, I would suggest feeding them with 3 or, 3 different lengths that you would want, and that way, if it's only 3 lines, then you've got something in there. If it's not 3 lines, then maybe they can do more. You have, they've been pretty accommodating when they can, but they're not able to, there's a difference between what we've given them and
What's been
3
approved.
lines. Like there have been times they put a half page, right? So
Yeah.
I think we're asking, they can't accommodate that every time is what they're saying. So we got to plan on like the worst case scenario and say, all right, if you can't fit much in, this is what we wanted to say. Because what's been happening is we're giving them a half a page and then we're frustrated if they can't put it in. So how do we bridge that gap and say, all right, here's what we want? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Well,
I think you want to
I don't
have
know, I
like
gotta think
a
about
few
that
different
because,
things.
if somebody wants to take it over, but because I don't think I want to get involved in.
So we're having Milestones Senior Center dictate to us what we can write. Is that what you're basically saying?
Well,
So
they
this
only have
is their
nights.
newsletter.
their
You
newsletter.
understand
That's
that this is the senior center's
Correct.
newsletter.
Correct.
They have a budget to have a certain amount of pages in their newsletter.
And
We
we're
have
piggybacking.
requested to be included in there and they've
see.
granted that request.
I see.
But then there's been times where they just don't have enough space to put a whole long article in. That's what's been,
Mhm.
that's what's been happening. Many times we've given them a lengthy article, which would take up, a
Understood.
quarter or a half a page of this.
I
So
We have that in the
there,
past.
and so what they're saying is that we're giving it to them in plenty of time, but they have to pull all the pieces together.
Make
So
it
they're
work.
not able to get all those pieces together until sometimes, the night before it's due.
I understand.
There's frustration by this group in saying, oh, we don't, we're not able to
Where's the rest of
say,
my
oh,
article?"
this is right. If we knew it was gonna be cut back, we would have wanted to say what we would want to cut out, right? So that's the challenge. It's not our newsletter, right? So
Mhm.
we're being accommodated to put a little blurb in there. What's that blurb gonna look like? Well, I think you come up with a few different options for them and you feed them those a few different options, and then they can say, worst case scenario, you have 3 lines, but they've been pretty accommodating to give you 7 or 8 or more lines. So that's not to say it's gonna be like that every time. No, you're not agreeing with me?
Would it make sense to
I am not
have our
going
own?
to, I'm not going to even discuss it anymore because you know what? I find that, I don't like things that are not set in stone. When you were told that you have 3 lines, I just wanted to make it very simple. Keep, like just get our name out there
Yeah.
and not go through this,
Then-
because writing these articles take a lot of time
Yes.
and.
They
and,
do.
then it's not, and I think they're valuable, but apparently,
So-
they don't have room, so.
So Gail, here's what would be 3 lines. This little thing right here. The
Yeah.
Town of Yarmouth Commission on Disability, with your vision and your webpage, why not just leave it at that?
We're gonna have to.
Yeah, and if you wanna have, what I'm saying is, if other people have other suggestions for something that's a little longer, I'm not saying you write an article. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying you come up with another blurb that's 7 or
No, I
8
understand,
lines.
Sarah. It's just
that
that
has
to
a
me,
little more
blurb means
information.
nothing. I really think that we had a story to tell. And, they cut out the most important thing, and that was recognizing 2 members that worked for 5
Yeah, I saw that.
months. And they didn't say, they didn't.
Kudos,
You
yeah.
do
Right.
have a story to tell, but you have another platform that you can use to tell those stories. So maybe you want to
That's
think
what I was
about that other platform. We have a web page on the
So
So then I
town's
think the way
website.
we should
Bingo.
do it is we should just drive them to the webpage and put the
Bingo.
webpage really big
That's
and say,
what
you know,
I'm suggesting.
please, and that's
Awesome.
it, and not go
And if
through.
you have different things that you want to update that web page on a regular basis, we can
That's-
do
Yeah,
that,
to
you
me,
know?
that would make more sense. That's more consistent than one time they have this, then they have that. You see, your branding needs to be consistent. So
Well, I
that's
think
why
the
was
web
saying-
page and the
Terrific.
QR code would be great because,
So I
you know,
think,
people are getting
like,
used
don't
to
you think
using.
so? Branding should be consistent, right? You know what I mean? So we drive them to the webpage, because that's, I mean, to the website, because that's really what we want to do, because we want them to know they can write their concerns, questions. So that is it. So we don't speak words, we just try to, like, you know,
Gail, when
Okay.
is the next due date?
That's
it's
perfect.
already passed.
Oh, it has, okay.
Yeah, it was May 3rd. Unfortunately, John and Jessica and I forgot all about it,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Oh,
it
no,
passed.
actually, I did get something written from Jessica.
I didn't get anything.
It's okay. I
asked-
actually thought I
Well,
had
no, I
time.
asked to have it sent to me.
So I think
Yeah,
what,
okay.
what I would suggest is that we regroup on the milestone.
Yeah.
And whatever the article is that you've put together, thank you for doing that, by the way. Get that to, really to me, unless, well, I guess we should get it to me. We should bring it to the next meeting. And as long as everybody's on board with it, I can get it on the website. You can vote on it at the next meeting. We get it on the
I
website.
think it's a-
And in the meantime, get that little, I mean, I think, I don't know, I can't make a motion. I'm not on the
No, but
committee,
I, no,
but
but
like,
I,
you know,
that's the way I
doing
would do
something
it.
that's like
Something that's
small.
consistent, something that's small, but it drives them to the webpage.
So I
That's-
don't know if someone wants to make a motion to do just this little piece, which is the vision, and then add in the website and the QR code, you know, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine, because you know what, they'll go to the webpage and then they'll know who's on the board and they can communicate with that if they have, that's
Right.
fine. That, I
Have a
think
little
that
more
is, I have no
flexibility.
problem with that. You know what? I'm a team player. I don't want to be, you know, it's just that I like consistency, you know what I mean? I think
Oh,
that-
you
Do
don't
you
need
want to
to-
entertain a motion for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna entertain a motion. So the motion is, let's see, I move that we stay in the milestone publication and that we put together a canned format for,
Redirecting to our website.
yeah, redirect them to the website.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
I said, the motion.
Okay, now, unfortunately,
She's coming.
yeah,
I thought I had that document that Alexa wrote. It's more of a plug for Cord than it is for our program.
Oh, we
Well,
don't, that's
can't use
not,
that. I agree.
yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
So you know what we're gonna do? What we'll do is, as far as the CCRTA, I forgot, we have to get some brochures, because we have to talk about what we're gonna do with May 17th, which is coming up.
So can we talk about that? Cause I need to, we need
Okay,
to end by
yes.
4:30. I
Yeah,
have,
what
I
time?
have to be somewhere at 5.
Okay,
so-
we're gonna be out of here.
Okay.
So we'll put that motion when Jessica comes back. The health and wellness fair. What we decided to do was we're not gonna have a table this year. Jean and I are going to physically go to every single vendor that's there. And we're going to introduce ourselves. We're gonna hand out a brochure. We're gonna hand out a bookmarker. We're going to hand out a membership sheet if they would like to put it on their website, I mean, not their website, on, you know, at establishment. Because last year we were there, but people, they were so congested, we couldn't even talk to anybody. They just came through. I had candy and stuff like that. And I thought we had a couple of people that are interested, but it didn't show up. And I feel that sitting there and doing nothing is, you can't talk to somebody, it's too busy. So we're gonna reverse it. So, so is that okay with you? Because I think that's,
Sounds good.
okay, because I think that's what I would, you know, I propose.
And if you bring candy, give me a lot.
No, we're not gonna have the table. So that, so you looked at me kind of strangely. Is that a problem?
No, I'm just, do they know that at the senior center?
No, I wanted to discuss it here before
Okay.
I contacted Pete because. he
It
just said-
sounded like the decision was already made. That's probably what the look on my face was.
Well, because it is in my mind, because
Okay.
otherwise I wasn't gonna show up. Because
Okay.
I just felt that I wanted to do something different, and I know Gene's probably saying, what the heck's going on? But I wanted to do something different, because I was thinking about it, I was saying, you know, we really need membership, we really need to get our name out there, we need to know. I think that if people know who we are and what we do, and they have an interest, you know, so we want human contact. So we're gonna go to the tape, we're gonna go to where.
Just again, like this kind of goes back to our earlier conversation that
we're
these
not
are
gonna
like
talk about- yeah,
decisions that should be brought to the group versus like coming with a plan, you know what I mean? Just the thought, just that's what my look was, because I was like, oh, there was like a plan that was created somewhere along the way that no one knows about.
No,
you know what I mean?
I came up with this as, I know why, and I'm gonna tell you. the
Maybe
truth.
it's the way you said it. You said, we're not gonna have a table,
Well,
we're
I'll
gonna
tell-
do this, and it's like,
I'm gonna tell
okay,
you why.
okay.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm gonna say why. I get very upset thinking that here is some of our vendors included, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we should have been on there? Being a town commission?
Yes.
Right. However, Mass, which is fine, the commission, page 17. Mass Commission for the Blind is listed, but Yarmouth Disability Commission is not. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna even bother going. I was
Can
so
I-
upset.
Can I ask you a question?
So anyway, that's what, so you asked me why I was like, you know, like,
Yeah, so
Hyper.
have we confirmed that we have a table?
absolutely, I got an email.
Okay,
You pay
Yes.
for the table?
No.
Vascular care group is on here,
The what is?
vascular care,
I don't know what that means.
just wondering, that's it. I'm just wondering how many people need vascular
But,
care.
but you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not
Quite a
supporting
bit,
us.
actually.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought that it would be reciprocative, you know, especially we have somebody that's a liaison with the age-friendly community.
Hmm.
I mean, what is that? So I just said to myself, you know what? No, I'm not, I'm gonna do something different.
I get
Because
it.
I'm gonna work for the commission, and I'm not gonna sit at the table. I'm gonna go out and do my thing. So,
let's
I know.
just take a step back, yeah, take a breath. Take a breath. So you have a chairman of the age-friendly team that probably wrote this and put this out, right? It's signed by that person.
Yeah.
it just seems like it's possible that it was an oversight. I don't know.
That's okay.
It's not, you know what I mean? I
If
don't
you
know.
look at the top, it says some of our vendors.
I know that.
So it's not a complete list.
Well, put it this way, if I was, oh my God, maybe I'm just so different. Because if I was doing this, I would be so attentive to, like, when Drew mentioned to us, he had this health fair, right? And we wanted to support the age-friendly community.
Mhm.
That's why I thought it was a great idea.
Mhm.
Nobody put a gun to my head. I don't even know, I've never been to a meeting, but my feeling is that, you know, this is part of the town. So when I saw this, I guess I'm assuming too much, I would think that as they look at the vendors, they would say, oh, the Disability Commission, oh, definitely put them on there. I mean, that's a no-brainer. We even had another woman that was also on the commission, and she's also a member, Sharon Ladley. And I'm sure that they have a discussion like we had a discussion. So I can't assume it, but so it kind of like bothered me, especially being cut down to 3 spaces. I mean, I just like 3 lines, I just like went crazy. So
Sure.
I said to myself, I goes, okay, what is the purpose of going there? The purpose of the going there is obviously to support, you know, to let people know who we are. So then I said, you know what? I'm not
Seniors.
sitting at a
Seniors.
table and gonna be talking to people and just, whoever walks by. I am gonna actually go out and fish. And I'm going to go to every single table and I'm gonna give them a card and just mention who I am.
But then you're reaching all the vendors, you're
That's
not
right.
reaching the participants.
I want the vendors, because the
Okay.
vendors, if they live in town and they're business people, they may have enough, they may want to get on the board, or they may know somebody, or they may have somebody that has a disability.
Mm.
I'm reaching people that are going to be standing still where I can talk to them. or
I think
not
you
for
should
2
consider
seconds.
doing both, Gail. I think you're missing all the participants by just talking to the vendors, and there's no guarantee that any of those vendors even live in town. The
Well,
people that are
well,
working
Well, I
at
was gonna
those
ask them- I was
tables.
going to ask them,
know?
I was going to ask.
You're more
Lois.
likely to have people that live in town coming to it than you are working the tables.
Well, I'll have to
Because
pray
the
on it.
participants that are, the people who are coming and walking around at this are more likely to be Yarmouth residents.
I know, but they were
Than
not,
the people working at the table. I mean, if I were working at a table, I'm not a Yarmouth resident, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I bet you there's a lot of people that fall into, I've been to lots, like I've gone to job fairs and, other towns, and I'm not, I'm at the table, but if they were asking me to vote in Yarmouth or, I wouldn't be able to do that, so.
I have a couple of staff that are going to the East Hampton Health Fair tomorrow, so that's a perfect example. Neither one of them live in East Hampton. They both live down here.
well, I didn't see any big results last year personally. I mean, there was so much.
Well, would you
confusion.
would you like to reconsider and put out there to the group that you don't have a table? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, obviously, in order to have a table for the Disability Commission, we have to have volunteers that are willing to work the table.
Right.
And if you're saying, you know what, change my mind, I'm not willing to work the table, then that's kind of
Right.
makes the vote pretty easy, I would say.
I mean, I'm only
Good
one
point.
person. I mean, Jean, I don't know how you feel about it.
Oh, I didn't think it was worth our while.
You don't think it's worth
Last
that while?
year.
Oh, last year?
No,
Okay.
last year.
You didn't think it was worth that while?
So I think maybe you
But it's up
want to
to the group.
reconsider. I
If they
mean,
wanna see it happen, I will go.
up to the group. I've got 11 minutes and I have to
Okay.
leave. I have to meet my daughter somewhere at 5, so I'm just putting that out there.
Well.
Why don't, should we give that a second to breathe and go back to the motion that was brought up while
Yep,
Jessica
okay.
stepped out on the milestone?
Yes, okay.
What was the motion?
I forgot.
We had a motion and a second that we were gonna shorten the milestone just to include the
The
vision and the website and a QR code.
Yeah.
And then if there's articles that people want to submit, we can put those on the Disability Commission page if they're voted on here. So that the milestone would be directing people to the webpage.
That's a good idea.
Do we get a?
So we had a motion and a second, so we need a vote.
Okay. So, any discussions? We already had that discussions, right? Jean Boyle?
The motion was made,
Yes,
so I will second it.
okay. And,
Now we need to vote.
now need to vote. Jean Boyle,
Yes.
Jessica Simmons,
Yes.
yeah, Charette, yes, okay. We never said who's gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'll take that on anyway, because it's just what.
I
it's
can
just
send
20
it to, I can send it to them. I have it right
okay.
here. If you want
Okay,
me to
good.
just
All
send
right.
it over, that's
right.
fine.
Can you do me a favor and send me a copy?
Yep.
Thank you, okay.
I think
All
it'd be
right.
nice to get on the town website and be able to put a blurb in there that monthly changes and you
Yeah.
can access it to.
Yeah, that's
Come on.
easy.
Okay, we're getting back to the health and wellness fair. I didn't have enough time to think about it, but I'm telling you, as I think about it right now,
No table.
I'm not interested in doing this. So I don't know. I'm sorry. You're
Well,
gonna
it
be
didn't
alone.
benefit us in any way last year. We had two people that we thought might want to become members. It never panned out. All we did was hand out candy
Yeah.
and brochures and.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the goal in mind when we are going to the health fair with the table? Is it to get members? Is it to just let people know we're here? Is it a few things?
It's a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was passing out brochures.
Mhm.
It was passing out, bookmarks, we did that. And I had a chat last year and, I mean, people were more interested in just going by and just collecting things. They really, there was really nobody, I had a few people that I talked to, if I remember, I thought they would be, like interested, not necessarily members, but, like go on the webpage and if they have any concerns, stuff like that. This has to be another way of reaching people. I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
So,
And
What
last
do you-
year, our attendance got us no results,
it's like,
obviously.
well, what about the police? You're
Just
so
us.
pretty, Jessica. You're-
Wow,
you.
Jessica,
She is.
you really
No, but
got that one.
we gotta get going, 'cause I'm afraid. Okay, but let me just say this, I lost my minute try.
Sorry.
Anyway, no, I just said that, do you think it's beneficial? I mean, the police one, remember you were the police one?
And it was a nice evening. It was lovely to be outside and to sit with Mary for an evening and watch the kids come and take all the candy.
Yeah, that's what.
We
I-
didn't have a lot of conversations about who we are and what we do.
Yeah, and see, this is where we can't talk about it at sitting down there, because I tried that. You can't, there's just too much commotion. There's thousands of people going through. And I think what really put the nail in the coffin was when I didn't see us on there. And I just said, you know what?
All right, so do you want to entertain a motion to decide not to have a table?
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion that we do not have a table at the health and wellness fair. I need a second,
I'll second.
okay?
It's unfortunate.
Thank you. And now we'll take a vote. Jean?
Yes,
Jessica? Yes. Yeah, sure, yes. Okay, the motion passes. I think what we're gonna do as far as the next one is Mary is not here, so we'll move on.
then I will tell Mary, once she drafts that email,
Not to send it out. but-
we will bring it to the
Yes.
June sixth meeting.
Thank you.
Yep,
Okay,
perfect.
Perfect, okay. April minutes, we're going to table this,
Okay,
and we're gonna have it for next month. That's
Okay.
okay with everybody. Perfect, okay. So we talked about the new business. I don't know if that's supposed to be on.
No, that's just for-
Our
yeah.
notes, right. That's- Okay, motion to adjourn, so moved. Let's vote.
It's the deadline.
Jean Boyle, vice chair.
do we have a
Yes.
second on
Oh,
the
you have a
adjourning?
second?
I'll second.
Jessica. Jessica Simmons
Yes.
and Gail Charette, yes. Thank you all for participating. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
The deadline.